Hello, everyone. This is Chris, and today I've been invited to interview your host of Got the Magnet, Joe and Susan Smith, as we hear from them after their first 90 days on the road, after selling nearly all their worldly belongings and exchanging it for a life on the open road, free of being tied to any one place, and now they are sightseers of the world. Joe, Sue, we last heard from you when you were interviewed by Ola about a month ago after the 60-day mark of you being on the road. So, Sue, tell me, what have you guys been up to for the last month?
The last month, we have been going from Arizona to where we are right now in Missouri. So we went to Las Vegas and we stayed at the Luxor and the New York hotel. And then we went on a cruise from Las Vegas or Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera,
Wow.
which is Puerto Rico and Cabo San Lucas.
Okay. Wow. Cool. So, Joe, what do you feel are the best parts of what you guys been doing the last month?
The best individual things of what we've done is we're knocking things that we've always wanted to do off the list. We went to the final race of the season for NASCAR in Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
One of the highlights of the cruise was swimming or having an encounter with sea lions.
Wow.
That I didn't even know until Sue saw it, that it was even an option of something to do, but it was really well done. They're very friendly, very sociable, and that was probably the highlight of the cruise.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, but not just doing things. And there was one point where we were driving through the desert from Flagstaff to Texas, and the scenery out there is beautiful. Stuff out of, I don't know if you remember the magazine Arizona Highways. I remember we used to get it around Christmas, and just driving through that and just the beauty that is the landscape. And this is our life now. That was really a cool moment.
Yeah, it's not just a picture in a magazine. It's actually like real. You can get out and see it for yourself. That's really cool. So, on the flip side of that, what would you say is, so I'll pose this to you, Sue. What were maybe some of the lowlights, some of the parts that maybe weren't as good?
Being with Joe, of course, because he snores at nighttime. So usually I cannot sleep when he's snoring.
You snore too, dear.
Yeah, but not as much as you.
Was there anything that you guys saw that you maybe thought you would build it up bigger in your head and it was like, oh, this wasn't as good as I had anticipated? Was there anything like that? Like maybe the food on the cruise? I don't know. I haven't cruised a lot. So is there anything on a cruise that maybe people should watch out for that maybe they think, oh, I should spend the money to do this, and maybe you found out no, not worth it.
Nothing on the cruise because we did the specialty dining package. So we
Okay.
went to the Chops Grill and the Hook Seafood. Maybe the Izumi, which is like a Japanese sushi place.
Uh-huh.
I'm not really too fond of sushi, but
Okay.
other people could be.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true. I guess like when you have an opportunity to try different things, some people might jump in and try it, and that's probably where you learn. Maybe not everything is to everybody's palate. Okay.
But uh,
Well,
but yeah, let me just finish on the cruising. We've been on enough cruises that we pretty much know what we like and what we don't like.
okay.
So for somebody who, and we've done a lot of things over the years on cruises, that's not worth it. That's something like, we're not late night partiers. Yeah, there's
Okay.
parties that go on until 10 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. There's people closing down the bars and the casinos. That's not us. we're if we're up until 10 o'clock, that's considered late night, and we've just learned to accept that. We make exceptions to that, but we've done all that before, and we've learned what we like and what we don't like.
I would imagine with that that if people aren't maybe big drinkers, they're not going to want to stay out to that hour because that is when people are really intoxicated. And if you don't want to be around that, then you know that's a way
Yeah,
to avoid it.
a large extent, and there's people who just like hanging out with other people, but we
Mhm.
like getting up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, going, getting breakfast, and talking with other people.
Would you say it's a little quieter on a cruise ship at the early hours?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, very much because I get up. Most of the breakfast starts at 7 a.m.,
Okay.
but there's places where technically you can start getting snacks. It's like a coffee shop, snacks for at 6 o'clock. But I got down there around 5:30, and there were already people there, and it's
Wow.
very low key. Just a little coffee, just people sitting there reading their books, reading their newspaper, just quiet conversations on that. So it is very quiet and relaxed early in the morning.
Okay. So if you're a person that maybe doesn't like a lot of people around you all the time, that there's ways to mitigate that and find some quiet spots. That's good to know.
Yeah,
Okay.
always. I'm not a big crowd person. I like to find, and there's always places on the ship where you can go and find solitude other than
Okay.
just your cabin or your balcony.
Hmm. Okay.
There's also the solarium, which is the adults only pool place.
Oh, okay.
It's usually quiet there too.
Okay. So I have a question. Looking at where you guys have traveled and all the things you've done, one thing that kind of entered my mind was that might be expensive. I'd love to do a trip like this, but I'm not made of money. But I also know that you don't have to be made of money and there are ways to save money. So, in your experience so far in these first 3 months, what would, and I like to hear because maybe you have different answers, what would you say is an easy, simple way to save money that maybe people wouldn't have thought of?
I'll take that one. Or
So we're in the Marriott rewards, so we get maybe some special discounts on the rooms.
Uh-huh.
And we don't always go out either. So we usually get maybe go to Aldi's or to a grocery store and actually cook
Okay.
at the hotel.
Okay. Okay. So you don't always have to eat out when
Right.
you're traveling. Okay.
and that's one of the things we've learned because we've changed over these last 90 days. When we first started, we were eating out a lot because we were going to new areas. Because being living in the Philadelphia area, going to a Whataburger or an In-N-Out burger, that's something that wasn't in our area. Coming across
Yeah.
all these restaurants that we've heard of, maybe been to years ago, and then revisiting them. But it's gotten old after a while. So we still go out. We went out to dinner last night, but today we went to Aldi and we picked up enough stuff. We're going to in this hotel for about a week. So we picked up enough stuff for several meals. And the other thing is Marriott, their town place suites and Residence Inn, most of them have grills outside.
Okay.
So we've started to grill outside. For Thanksgiving. We were in Denton, Texas, and we went to the grocery store and we picked up. I can't remember if we had pork chops or hamburgers that day. We had one day and one the next day. So that was our Thanksgiving dinner,
Along with puppies.
along with going to Buc-ee's.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. I was pretty jealous as a connoisseur of Buc-ee's myself. The fact that you got to eat Thanksgiving dinner at Buc-ee's, I was like, man, maybe that's what I should plan for next year. Hopefully, they'll build one closer to where I live here in Pennsylvania. But
Not only that, but I got my picture taken with Buc-ee, which was on my list of things I want to do because I'd watch people do videos about Buc-ee and they get their picture taken. And was jealous. When I saw him out in the parking lot, I ran to him like a 5-year-old running to Santa Claus with tears in my eyes, and I am not exaggerating. I actually had to recover. I was that excited.
that's awesome, though. That's cool to know that a character like that can invoke a reaction out of an adult because we're humans. We get excited about stuff like that. And as far as I know, there's no rhyme or reason when Buc-ee shows up. So it's almost a magic moment when he does. And I'm glad you got to experience that, Joe. That's really cool.
Yeah, I heard like they said that he's usually there on Saturdays, and we did stop at a Buc-ee's on the way from Texas to Missouri at a Buc-ee, and there was a Buc-ee there. So we did get our picture taken with him again.
Okay, good. Yeah, maybe you'll have to see how many different locations you can get your pictures with Buc-ee's at. Maybe plan to make a collage or something like
Yeah,
that.
before I get
Um,
my restraining order.
or that too. You were just talking about before we're talking about Buc-ee's, you were talking about things that you ways that you guys learn to save money by going to getting groceries and whatnot. What would you say other lessons you've learned maybe here in the third month that maybe it took you close to 90 days to figure something out? Anything that you can guys can think of off the top of your head? Sue?
Okay, while she's thinking, let me. One of the things we've had to make the realization is we're not on vacation. The first couple weeks we were on vacation, and even so, we're still in that because we have event items that we've wanted to do. Like we're in St. Louis because we're going to indoor car racing, but we've started making that we're actually working. So instead of going places, we actually spend the time in the hotel working on videos and getting their social media presence going and increasing that rather than just trying to pack in as much as you can in vacation mode. That is probably the biggest thing we've learned so far.
Hmm. Okay. Now, so question about this, and I was trying to see if I could tell from. So, Sue, are you the one that does the social media portion of it?
Part of it.
Part of it? Okay. And I know for some people that, that's that, like you said, that's part of the deal. That's almost a job because as you're documenting this, you want to put it out there. You want to build your brand. So, Sue, is there anything that you've learned now from doing the post, maybe ways that you procedures you go through as you're doing stuff, maybe tips for other people that want to document their trips, things you can think of?
We've been doing the meta business on the social media, and a lot of them are saying to add like music with your video or
Mhm.
photos and add like emojis to the description so to make it more appealing to other people.
The other thing we need to work on is consistency with it. And that's what one of the things we've been doing is because it's December and it's Christmas time. So we've been trying to add a Christmas tree of the day.
I
As,
saw that.
as we go places, taking pictures of Christmas trees and maybe in the hotel lobby, maybe at a gas station. We're going back into the archives of ones that you'll be seeing those couple days from when we went to London a couple years ago, a couple other really nice Christmas trees. So just
Mm.
building that consistency of thing, I think that's going to really help to get our name out there.
Yeah, and give your followers something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people between I think Thanksgiving and Christmas, they really don't post that much anymore
Mm.
towards the end of the season.
Okay. One thing that I sensed by following your journeys, I know for me, when I go on vacation, because I do tend to do these road trips on vacation, I feel like I try to pack so much into the week itself and then each day within the week. And to me, it seems like you guys, because you're living on the road, you have a little more space to. Would you agree that does it feel like you're not rushing and you don't have this sense of, oh, I got to do all these things? And is that a lot less pressure?
Yes, because I'll give you an example. Like I said, we're here in St. Louis this week. If we were in vacation mode, we would be going to the Arch, we would be going to Busch Stadium, we'd be going to the Cardinals Museum and other touristy attractions in St. Louis. but because of this lifestyle and knowing that we have to produce these videos, we have a lot of stuff that we've done that we still need to get up and published. We're sacrificing that, but knowing we have the ability to come back to St. Louis at a future date,
Absolutely.
and that way we can concentrate on that, and that way we can enjoy the whole experience. Plus, I know you travel a lot. The second, third time you're to places, it's a lot easier because you know what to expect. You have some idea of the culture, the layout of the streets, what times to avoid, maybe even just driving around saying on billboards. And we actually have a list that we keep in the car as we're driving down the road of billboards. And so let's check this out. So we'll have a better idea as we go back, because this has happened to us a couple times. Because we went to a Flagstaff on our way to Vegas, and then after a cruise, we stopped at Flagstaff for a couple days after it. We stay in the same hotel. We were able to know what restaurants were around, what grocery stores, where to get gas. So we weren't under that same pressure. So that's really helping, knowing we can go back to places if we want to.
Absolutely. One thing I've noticed too about being on the road is depending on the time of year you're in an area, some things are not open, or some things, especially this time of year, some things might have a Christmas theme. And so if you go around Christmas time or in December, it might be a completely different experience than when you go in the summer. And that is cool too.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, are you guys collecting anything on your trip to keep it interesting, document it? So what made me think about this was the fact that you guys are calling your adventures Got the Magnet. So are you collecting magnets? Are you collecting national park stamps? Or it doesn't have to be something tangible. I know people that collect counties, capitals, certain interstates. Is there anything that you are making sure that, oh, have to get this, whether it's tangible or something just out there? Anything like that?
We try to get magnets
Okay.
everywhere we go, but it's not possible every time because we don't have any place to put them for the most part.
True. True.
Yeah, we've limited because beforehand we collected magnets and we had hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating. We had refrigerators full. I had a filing cabinet full of them. They're now sitting in a bag in the storage locker. But we are collecting them, not as nearly intense as we were. And we're going to add them to the collection. And one day, maybe when we do settle down, we'll have a place to display them and go, wow, these are all the places we've been.
Yeah, maybe you can open up your own museum to yourselves and then charge admission. There's that's the one thing that if you haven't seen it yet, you will see the craziest museums to, well, there might be a museum to water bottles, there might be a museum to pens, things you wouldn't think. Who's going to make a museum to that? But they're out there. It's just a matter of finding them.
I know where the Penn Museum is. It's Fort Madison, Iowa.
Really?
Yes,
Did not know.
I watched the rail cam on there, and I looked up to see what else was around there. It's right on. I want to say the Iowa-Illinois border, but I may be wrong. But it's neat because it has a train bridge that rotates. It doesn't open up and down. It actually rotates. So that is on our list of places to go. And I can't remember the name of the pen company, but that was where they were headquartered years ago.
Oh, okay.
And we did do something neat like that. We went to, I don't know if you've heard of the Cadillac Ranch.
I have, and I've never been there. So tell
We've
me
been
about
there.
that.
It was literally 5 minutes out of our way. It may not have been 5 minutes. It was at the same exit we were getting gas at.
Okay.
And it's 10 Cadillacs buried nose first. And you're encouraged to spray paint. And it's an ever changing museum. And even in front of it, the parking area is spray painted.
Oh, okay.
So it was
And
neat. I think I said because we posted it, I wouldn't go more than 15, 20 minutes out of my way to say it. But if
mhm.
you're on I-40 through Amarillo, it's definitely worth a stop. It's really a neat thing.
And do you have to show up with your own spray paint or will they sell you spray paint?
They will sell you spray paint. It's totally free. It's open 24 hours. I don't know if I'd want to be there in the middle of the night because I'm not sure how well lit it is, but they have a
Yeah.
trailer there where you can buy souvenirs, and we did get a magnet.
Oh,
But they also sell approved spray paint
okay.
because, yeah, so that was the only knock against it was there were tons of spray can paint around the automobiles. It's like people were just done with it and they just threw it on the ground. And it's
Oh,
like there's trash
yeah,
cans, there's bins.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. What we're doing here, we're sitting here and listing stuff and thinking of stuff. Have you gotten any feedback from people, from any of your followers that have been inspired to either do a trip themselves or to go see specific stuff that you've seen just because they saw you do it? Any feedback that you can remember?
On the first video that we did on the chili bowl, I do remember somebody saying, "Wow, this is awesome." That he actually wanted to do it. Or the Rolex 24, the fireworks. I think he said that he saw it before, but he thought it was a good video to do.
Yeah. No, we're not getting nearly as many comments as we would like. And especially on these type of videos, we want to know what questions people have for us on that. And that's one of the reasons we have different people interviewing us is we want everybody has their own different perspective on this. So please, in the comments question, ask what questions you may have for us, any suggestions for travel for next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would say as you build your brand, you get more followers, that will definitely happen because sometimes people aren't the type to ask questions, but they are out there. And I think you'll definitely start getting more feedback as you
Right.
on the road a little longer. So you've seen quite a few places so far. Of all the places you've visited, if for some reason, not that knock on wood, I'm not hoping for another pandemic, but if you had to pick a place as your permanent home, maybe not permanent, but to stay for maybe a year or so, which place would it be of all the places you visited so far and why? What would you pick as your place you'd stay for longer?
For me, it would not be any place where it's cold.
Okay.
So either like out in the West Coast, California, Las Vegas,
Okay.
Arizona, or even down south in Florida. I have relatives out down in Florida.
Okay. And it's based on the weather, you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just don't like being in 20-degree weather right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not a fan of that either. What about
Yeah,
you, Joe? Where would you like as your permanent home of the places you visited so far?
I really liked Arizona. And again, we need to take weather into account because we were in Flagstaff and it was snowing. And I joked with the desk clerk and I said, "Yeah, I didn't come to Arizona for snow." He's like, "You picked the wrong city." But we're at 7,000 feet and their climate, they do get cold and snow. But as much as avoid the winter, it's 110 degrees does not sound very fun. And I've experienced that in Vegas. But
Mhm.
all things considered, I'm thinking Arizona, Nevada, somewhere in there of all the places we've been. I'm not opposed to Florida. Texas, I'm not a big fan of Texas weather because they get the worst of everything.
They do.
But we're going through and seeing places that it's always in the back of my mind. We're going through places. I really like parts of Virginia and parts of North Carolina. And when the time comes, we have enough things that we're going to figure out, okay, this is what works for us at that. But really, that's at least 1 or 2 years off. We're really hoping to make this work. And,
Mhm.
and hope's the wrong word. We're planning on making this work.
So, what do you guys have coming up? Let's take a peek behind the curtain. What are you guys going to do through the rest of December or maybe into January? And maybe next year?
next week we're gonna go to Georgia for a couple days
Okay.
to see our daughter.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go to Ocala to see my relatives. And then we're actually have a cruise planned next weekend
Oh,
from
wow.
from Tampa. So we're gonna have to drive about 2-3 hours from Ocala to Tampa
And where does that cruise that leaves out of Tampa, where's that going?
to the Belize.
Oh, okay. So down to that, not, yeah, because I know
The
Belize is a separate country. So like Central America, basically.
in the Western Caribbean they call it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
And I believe it's
Nice.
all ports we've never been to, which is an oddity for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But what about beyond that? Is there any big places like pie in the sky sort of thing? Like, we definitely want to go here in 2026. Places you guys have
So
started to think
this is
about?
what we have for 2026. The remainder, after we get back from the cruise, we have an annual pass for Disney
Okay.
World. So
Okay.
we're going to spend, I think, 20 days around Christmas, New Year's, around Disney. And with the annual pass, we're going to go to park most days for a couple hours. Parking's included. You can go to the park and go on a couple rides when the crowds and people start getting on your nerves. And we're staying at a hotel relatively close to there. Then the second week in January, we're actually heading back out this way to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the Chili Bowl, which is another indoor car race. We
Okay.
went last year and had the time of our lives. It's very intense. It's a commitment because it's from Monday through Saturday. And it's generally from 3, 4 o'clock p.m. up until about 11 o'clock at night with cars going. It's just a phenomenal event. And then when we come back from there, I think we have another cruise plan, but then, oh no, actually, we're going to Rolex 24, which is a 24-hour car race at Daytona. Then we have a couple cruises coming up, one on Carnival, one on Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. Going to Daytona 500, which has been on our list for a while. We're going to take a bit of a respite in the Ocala area at a horse farm. It's
Oh,
a
nice.
vacation rental by owner, and they have a guest house on a horse farm. So that's going to be, I think, 2 weeks. And then in April, we're going on a repositioning cruise from Port Canaveral, Orlando to Barcelona. And we're going to spend
Wow.
about a month in Spain, a week in Barcelona, a week in Valencia, a week in Madrid. Still finalizing those plans. We need to be back in the US Father's Day weekend, which is the middle of June, because we're going to a NASCAR race in San Diego. NASCAR
Okay.
is racing on the Navy base
Oh, nice.
on Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, we can't go there. And then I thought about it and said, man, yeah, we can actually do this. So, and then I think we have a couple other NASCAR events later in the season. So we
Mm-hmm.
really don't have anything planned. And then, oh, we are doing an Alaska cruise in August.
Nice.
And we're doing a repositioning cruise in, I believe it's October, from Seattle to Mobile, Alabama.
Through the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Very cool.
And then in early 2027, we have tentatively a cruise booked from Australia to San Francisco. It's like a 28-day cruise. I
Wow. And
say tentatively because we still need to work out some details. I had to put down a non-refundable deposit. I think it was like $100 total. So it's $100 gamble that we're going to be doing that and
oh, okay.
looking at maybe beforehand doing some stuff in Southeast Asia.
Wow. Okay. Wow. It sounds like you have a lot of your 2026 planned out.
Yeah. And after that, one or two things happen. We're going to be internet successes, or we're going to be broke and have to settle down and get jobs.
Well,
So please
I hope
subscribe.
I hope you are successes. And if you go to the places you just talked about, I definitely think you're gonna keep building a following because a lot of this stuff I feel like is word of mouth. So if you're watching this video and you think all this stuff is cool, tell a friend, tell a relative. To me, if you can't do these things yourself, the next best thing is following somebody who does. Because here's the thing, you might be able to go do these things yourself someday. And to me, the things you're talking about, you're inspiring me to go out and do these things because you know what? I can ask you questions. I can look and see and go, hey, I want to go experience that for myself. To me, that's the beauty of the internet.
Yeah, we're making mistakes, so you don't have to.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Any last words before we wrap up here from both of you?
No, and the only thing is, please this video, subscribe, follow us on the social media. Our handle is Got the Magnet pretty much everywhere. But let us know what type of content you're enjoying. Do you want to follow our journey? Do you want us to provide tips? Do you like NASCAR? Do you like Disney? Do you like cruising? We're still in the very early stages of this. We can go in
Mhm.
a lot of different directions, and the viewers are going to be the ones who push us in the direction because we have information to share. We need to know what information you would like, and we're happy to share it.
Yeah.
Again, subscribe.
And it sounds like from what Joe and Sue are saying, this is very interactive. So let them know what you'd like to see and they will provide. And with that, we're going to wrap things up and hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're not a subscriber yet, like Joe said, go ahead and do it. Click that button. And with that, we wish Joe and Sue lots of fun on their travels and safety, of course, but they know what they're doing. They're going to be safe and we'll watch their adventures as they continue. So with that, I'm Chris Hulse. This is Joe and Sue. Have a good rest of your December and a safe 2026, and we'll see y'all later.